Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. My name is Chris Hall, and today we're going to talk about Microtech versus Heretic out the front knives. I want to compare these two because many of you might know that the owner of this company, Anthony Marfione, his son made this company, Heretic. This is Microtech. This is a Microtech Ultratech. This is a Heretic Colossus. And I think that these are, pretty similar knives in concept. The Colossus is a bigger model in their range compared to the Microtech, which is just their standard model. They have a model called the Troodon that is a little bit thicker. But basically, these are pretty comparable. And I just want to compare not just these two knives, but these two brands in general and the overall feel, fit, and finish and details of these knives, because I do think that people will go between them potentially. And I want to explain to you how I think that the Heretic knife is actually a lot nicer and is a lot more worth the money than the Microtech. Although I do keep the Microtech, I have not sold it. I still have it, and I do still like it. But overall, I prefer the Heretic. And I'm going to talk to you about why, as well as explain the details between these two. So let's get started. Overall, let's talk about some of the differences here. Microtech uses M390 steel across their entire range of knives. That is their strategy. That helps them save money and also keep the quality up. Every single type of steel requires a slightly different manufacturing technique, right? You might need different tools, different tooling, different dies, different types of tooling and steels to cut different methods to cut different types of steels, right? If you're going to cut magna cut, it's way harder than if you're going to cut, some type of cheaper steel, some type of softer steel, or one of the, if you're going to cut D2. Way different than if you're going to cut M390, CPM 20CV, Magna Cut, anything like that. That's a really, really hard steel with a lot of carbides in it. But the benefit of using the same steel is that you do keep the quality up. You don't need to change everything, so you usually get pretty good quality control overall and uniformity. And overall, I do think it's a good steel. However, the Heretic, most of their knives are available in Magna Cut, mostly only. Magna Cut only for a lot of them. And Magna Cut is currently basically the best steel out there in every way, all around steel. It's the steel that I have all of my main knives in my rotation are in Magna Cut, because it is basically a 20 CV that does not rust. So it's a very, very hard metal, but it's also stainless, and that's very rare to see. Usually you have the trade-off between something that's stainless, something that's hard. That's why all those, Japanese carbon steels, they rust if you leave any food on them, right? Because you've got to take care of them. But because they have a high carbon content and they're a carbon steel like that, you can bring those carbides to a really, really, really fine point. You can bring the metal to a really, really fine edge. However, it can rust. With Magna Cut, you can really bring this thing to a really fine edge, and you get the benefits of a super, super hard steel, but it also won't rust. Even when dipped into a container of rust, it will really barely show any signs of rust, even after days and days and days. And what's cool about the Heretic is that they go the extra length to coat this part as well. So coating the blade will prevent it from rusting, or will delay the rusting, right? But this thing is already stainless, so it doesn't even need to be coated. But they coated it anyway, so that's going to give it even more longevity. A lot of blades that are made of something like a 3V. Here's a 3V. Here's a 3V blade from Chris Reeve, and you can see it's coated. You see, that's because it's made of 4V. But 4V is very similar to 3V. 4V is a really tough steel, but it's not stainless. So they coat this blade and then they're good to go. But if I look hard enough, I could probably see some rust spots already on the parts that aren't coated there. This is MagnaCut, which is already a stainless steel, but they went the extra step to coat it as well. So they make it extra stainless. Now let's talk about the design overall. Overall, the Heretic is beefier and fills out your hand more, and the Microtech is much slimmer, and everything about it is a little bit daintier than the Heretic. Everything's a little beefed up on this. Even if you don't have the Colossus, the Heretic still feels more beefed up. Also, you know, when you put pressure on the knife, both of these are very solid, but you know, in the end, this is aluminum and this is titanium. That's a big difference. Okay, so this is aluminum on the Microtech, the full body, and this is a full titanium. And titanium is harder than aluminum, and to me feels better, feels a lot better. On the Heretic, you also have that carbide grip, that like skateboard tape grip inlaid there, but that is not a sticker. Okay, that is not a stick-on kind of thing. That is actually etched in there in the metal. Okay, so in other words, it's not coming off. That is part of the knife. That will not wear off. That is like sandpaper, basically, on the knife. And the quality that's done at is just amazing. The quality of the whole knife is amazing on this Heretic. Overall, the build quality is very good on both of these, but the Heretic is better. The Heretic is also more centered. See that the Microtech is really off to the side. The Heretic is a little bit more towards the center in the whole chassis here, and overall the milling and the finishing is just a little bit tighter on the Heretic, especially with those inlays, and also the way that this logo is done. I don't like anodized logos like that, really. And I mean, Heretic does it here, but it's just more apparent when that wears off. The way that they do the writing on the blade here, Microtech, I do like. It's really, really clean, actually. Let me get that for you guys. There you go. It's really clean. Heretic has some writing there. CP MagnaCut, really clean. Also, let's talk about like the uncoated parts of the blade there. Both of them look pretty similar. They could do a little bit better, I think. Maybe like by stonewashing that a bit. It looks a little bit unfinished on both of them. But it's a tie. And in terms of that button on the top, I like the Heretic button more. And I think that button might be made of a different material. It looks like that button might be made of titanium versus this one is aluminum. The actual action of it, you have to push the Microtech way further up to get it to actuate. Like you have to get it all the way to the top, versus the Heretic goes more towards the middle, and it's overall easier to actuate the Heretic. And in terms of comparing the actual OTF action, the Heretic has a much better OTF action. It launches with much more authority and good feeling blade weight than this. This feels like just not as satisfying, and it's more difficult on your finger. This opens easier and feels better. It opens with more authority and also has less blade play as well. Now, Microtech did come out with a no blade play OTF just recently. This is not that, though. This is just the normal Microtechs, and these are going on sale right now because of that. These kind of do have a little bit of blade play where this does not have as much. You know, if it comes out and hits something, it's going to get derailed, which is by design. And then to fix that, you just pull it out, reset it, and then you're good to go, right? Super easy to fix. The bottom of this has a ball bearing on the bottom, a free floating ball bearing on the Heretic. me get that in focus. Free floated ball bearing right there. I put this lanyard on, by the way. Did not come with it. On the bottom of the Microtech, it has this design. Pretty cool. And I do like how the Microtech does the date right there. You know, 922. Serial numbers up there. Over here, the serial number is here. And I don't think that they put the date on it. Maybe there's a way to infer it from that 1322, but yeah. So overall, I feel like the MagnaCut is slimmer, doesn't feel as good, doesn't have as good of a steel, and doesn't have as good of a steel on the handle either. So overall, this is better. It does cost a little bit more, but this really has much more of a handmade fit and finish feel to it, almost like borderline custom knife. Love the pocket clip, by the way, as well. Really nicely done. How deep that is. Two-stage deep carry on that, right? So you can go, if you have thicker pants, it'll stop here. And if you have thinner pants, it can stop here. Or if you just want it tighter, you can push it in deeper. But if you just want it lighter, you can have it there. Genius. Love that about the knives that do that. The shape and the design overall is more complex here. I love the color of this titanium. It's like a grayish blue. I wish it was like a little bit dark. I wished it was darker at first, that it wasn't a bluish tint, but I like it now. I love the Heretic. Overall, I like the fit and finish more, and the feel in the hand, and also the blade shape. I know that this is a Tonto I got, and this is a more, drop point. But even if they were both drop point, this blade is just better shape. I like the shape on the top. This is kind of useless. This indent on the back. I like the overall thickness of the Heretic blades too. You get more steel in it, and the sharpness, the edge on this is great. It's a nice wide edge, but it's very, very sharp. So these will cut just as good. So overall, if you're looking for a more thin, dressier knife, maybe go with the Microtech. But if you're looking for just the best all-around material feel and everything like that, and just like cool factor and handmade factor, I'll go with the Heretic. So I guess the Heretic wins. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video.